Celebrating 30 years on the air on WROI is the first federal program. Hosts may have changed, but the program is still the same. Now continuing a long-standing tradition, streaming on the First Federal Facebook page and on WROI. It's time for the First Federal program.
Yes, indeed, it is time for the First Federal program here on a Friday morning. It's winter, it's dark. Evan is hosting, so guess what that means?
Bad weather.
Yes.
Well, it's all in your perspective, too. I shouldn't say bad weather.
Right.
It could be exciting weather.
Yeah, it could be.
It probably is to you, Paul, or it probably is to me.
Plow drivers get to get out and actually hit the roads.
They're just, you're rubbing their hands like this, like, yes, action, you know. And then kids start thinking about snow and getting outside, snow days. These are legendary things for winter in the Midwest.
Yes, they are.
So you want to kind of be resilient and face up to the weather.
Yes.
Stand your ground and get your snowblower going and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't have one of those.
You don't?
No.
Well, the old guys did it with shovels. We can do that too.
Exactly.
You shall not pass.
Of course, it gets more fun when the state plows me in. So
get a little of that crust, the ramp at the end of your drive.
Yeah, and then it's always that slushy ice mix, so the snow shovel doesn't want to move that.
No, you got to get some momentum going on your vehicle, and you just kind of launch it like Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
I've never tried that, but
neither have I, and I'm trying not to.
We should get an old beater or something and build a ramp. You know how when you were a kid and it was a snow day, you'd build the sled ramps?
Yep.
And you'd pour some water on it to kind of get it a little compact, maybe a little icy. That was awesome.
Yes. We going to make Tanner drive it?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll sit in the back so he knows there's support with our helmets on. And
and he just goes as normal.
Yeah, I love that idea. Well, we got some plans, so if everything gets canceled here, well, I guess, nothing's going to get canceled too much today, is it?
No, we got some schools up north that have closed, but they're also supposed to get a little bit more of the snow.
Well, they get to say lake effect, They kind of like saying that. You hear that a lot.
Yeah, we're right in that area that it depends on how the wind's blowing if we get that lake effect or not. So, I don't blame them for closing down today.
All right. Well, if things go sideways on us, let's meet at the hill today.
All right.
Got it? That's the rallying cry. Hey, it's the 12th day of the new year already.
It is.
Sounds special, doesn't it?
Crazy to think that.
12 days of Christmas, 12 days of New Year.
Yes.
You celebrating tonight somehow?
Sure.
Well, you can at least get some hot cocoa going, and
yeah.
If it's snowing, you make sure you got a good window to look out.
Absolutely. I got a very big one right in the middle of me.
Good time for a movie, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, well, we got some good trivia this morning.
Uh-oh.
NFL.
Oh, no.
I think your team might be involved somehow with this trivia.
Maybe.
Is that safe to say, Tanner?
I think it's pretty safe to say.
Okay, that's the only clue you're going to get. All right. How many NFL teams have never made the Super Bowl? Now, this doesn't count NFL championships prior to the merger. Okay, but Super Bowl itself. 2, 4, 6, or 8. Nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right.
2, 4, 6, or 8. Just say it over and over and over. Then maybe that'll confuse you and you get it wrong.
He's 1-0 on New Year already. So
how many NFL teams have never made the Super Bowl? That's a good one. And I'm wondering, could that answer change after the Super Bowl this year?
Possibly.
Okay.
There's a good possibility Detroit will be there, so there's that.
We've got some listing of some playoff teams below, so we'll see if that's another clue. I guess I did give you 2 clues. Okay.
I can tell you Cleveland's season will end tomorrow.
Not very confident.
You heard it here, folks. Big Joe Flacco fans. So there we go. All right, Tanner, what about some sports?
Yeah, well, let's keep talking. NFL playoffs they get underway tomorrow and continuing Sunday and even continuing to Monday. That's how the playoffs are formatted anymore with these TV networks. Get 3 days in a row, which is kind of exciting. Starts with Paul's Cleveland Browns Road favorites tomorrow, Paul. 2.5-point favorites on the road down in Houston to play the Texans.
Uh-huh.
That game's at 4:30 tomorrow on NBC.
They didn't want to risk playing in the snow.
Yeah, I don't blame them. You play indoors down there in Texas, in Houston, so no elements there. That should be a good game.
Yeah.
Two teams that I think at the start of the year nobody really had penciled in the playoffs whatsoever.
No.
Definitely not the Texans.
No, they were division winners,
Yeah.
thanks to the Jaguars just
Falling
over on themselves pretty much the last few weeks. Then the night game tomorrow night's interesting one. You got the Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs, who won the AFC West for about a billionth year in a row, it feels like at this point.
No hard feelings.
No, not at all. Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites. That game's at 8 o'clock on Peacock tomorrow.
Okay.
So if you want to watch that game, you have to subscribe to Peacock if you haven't already.
Do you think anyone's really betting Dolphins on this?
I doubt it. Dolphins are not a good cold weather playing team, and it's supposed to be really cold in Kansas City tomorrow. Tua, Dolphins quarterback's 0-6 when it's below 40 in this career.
Oh, no.
So just keep that in mind if you're maybe going to place a little wager or two. But Peacock, it's pretty brilliant on the NFL's part. I think it was a business move to put this game there because the Chiefs get a lot of viewership from the Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah.
One way or the other. And so I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of people subscribing to Peacock if they haven't already for tomorrow night's game.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So,
Yeah.
It's pretty simple to do.
yeah, it is. And they got a lot of good movies and programs on there too. So I think it's $4.99 or $5.99 a month
I think
with ads.
it's $5.99 with ads, and they're all less than 2 minutes long. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then Sunday, you got the Steelers at the Bills. The Bills are 10-point favorites. That's your biggest point margin of all the playoff matchups. That game's at 1 o'clock on CBS.
Is Mason Rudolph starting for the Steelers?
Yes.
He's
had a hot hand for him, but
third stringer, eh?
Yeah, there's a reason. It'll show up Sunday, I think. In the weather, who knows what the weather's going to be like in Buffalo.
Oh, that's just awesome.
But cold weather doesn't bother them.
Playoffs in Buffalo is just the coolest scenario, you know?
Buffalo's hot right now. They're coming in with some momentum, so I wouldn't want to play if I was anybody.
Well, they've made it through a lot of injuries this year and are still...
Tough schedule in the back half.
So you know they're going to be mentally tough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Packers at Cowboys on Sunday. Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites. That's at 4:30 on Fox. Two probably the more popular teams around
I was going to
America,
say that
I would say.
And even this region, like there's a lot of Cowboys fans around everywhere. And a lot of Packers fans here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's storyline there with Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy being the Packers' old coach. So interesting there. Los Angeles, talk about storyline. Los Angeles Rams play at Detroit Lions Sunday night at 8:15 on NBC. Lions are a 3-point favorite. First time they've hosted a playoff game in many, many years. They're facing their old quarterback, Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Rams. So.
The old quarterback switcheroo.
Yeah, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford traded for each other, and Stafford's got a chance to break the city of Detroit's hearts, I guess. So, and we'll see.
Beware.
And then Monday night, the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC champs last year, 3-point favorites on the road down at Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. That game's at 8:15 on NBC and ESPN. Gonna have two telecasts going on there. So a lot of fun NFL action this weekend. Of course, the Ravens and the 49ers are also in the playoffs, but they get a bye from being the 1 seed in their respective conference. So,
lucky them.
Yeah, we'll report back next week with more matchups. So
yeah.
Yeah, but also around the world of football.
Black Monday, is that what they call it?
Yeah, Black Monday happened for the NFL. A lot of coaches lost their jobs, unfortunately. 8 jobs are open now in the NFL, with the latest 2 being Pete Carroll asked pretty much to step aside while he could stay with the organization. It was a really weird situation there in Seattle. So he's out, and then Bill Belichick out in New England after 24 years. So I still think Belichick will be on the sideline somewhere next year. It's just a matter of where.
So where are you going to go coach?
Yeah, me, coach, yeah. I struggle with the Madden playbook. I don't think anybody wants me to play. And then in the college rank, Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college football coach of all time, retiring from Alabama this week. So in a matter of a little over 24 hours, you have Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick all step away.
These are the kind of things that make you feel kind of like your dad and old.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to get the players I grew up watching.
I know.
Manning, Roethlisberger, other Manning, Rivers, Brady. The last few years, Breeze all retired. Now I'm starting to see coaches retire.
I'm glad it's not just me.
I don't like this.
That's the first thought I thought, oh my gosh, a lot of turnover in sports, and that makes me feel.
It'll really hit me in the next couple of years. You know, I'm not a big fan of the guy, LeBron James, when he
Yeah,
retires.
I know.
So I've seen his whole career
Yeah.
during my lifetime. So, yeah.
I was thinking about when I was a kid, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was retiring,
Yep.
and you saw the end of some of these careers. Larry Bird,
Jordan 3 times.
2 different sports. 3
Yeah.
different sports.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's college basketball season. We got some college basketball going on in the state tonight and tomorrow. Indiana hosts Minnesota tonight at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. Indiana looking to bounce back after a loss at Rutgers. Minnesota, surprisingly, has got a good record going, but their schedule hasn't been too tough. So, it's an important one for Indiana. And then Purdue tomorrow hosting Penn State at 2:15 on Big Ten Network. Important one for them as well, as they dropped one earlier this week at Nebraska. And both these teams will see each other on Tuesday night. Purdue plays at Indiana, also on Peacock. So I was talking about Peacock earlier. I feel like I'm a spokesman for them every week on this show.
Yeah.
wondering.
Telling people that they need to subscribe.
I think there's a separate paycheck.
Yeah, we're going to check his direct deposit activity.
Yeah.
And then also Butler, great win this week at Marquette. Did not see that one coming out of the Bulldogs. They host Seton Hall tomorrow at noon on Fox Sports 1. And Notre Dame had an overtime win against Georgia Tech earlier this week. They host Florida State tomorrow at 2:15 on the CW. The CW has the ACC contract for sports now. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides the
Not
ACC
sure
network.
what channel that one is.
It's. I know it's on RTC cable. I don't know what channel.
Yeah. Don't know.
19 maybe. I don't know. Something.
It's in the lower 50s. I know, or under 50.
Just go to your guide and you'll find it.
Yeah.
So,
Butler has bounced back a little bit quicker than
They
I
have.
thought they
I
would.
kind of wrote them off already this season, and now they pull off a few good wins going in a row.
Good coaching matters sometimes.
That
doesn't it?
Model's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. So, a lot of basketball action going on regionally, and of course, high school tonight and over the weekend, weather depending.
Yeah.
A lot going on. So,
Yeah.
it's a good time to flip on your radio or your TV, and if you can't make it out to a game, and
Yeah. Listen in and
take it all
The
in.
hot cocoa going.
Yep,
back
yeah,
to
exactly.
You
go.
Get the feet up with your
Yeah.
winter socks on
Yep.
and
Yep.
some
Sounds like a good
slippers.
weekend to me.
All right.
Got some tidbits here this morning. This first one's sports related. On this day, 1906, the forward pass was legalized by the Football Rules Committee. Before then, it was a bunch of backward
They
laterals.
didn't know what they had unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we really started separating from rugby, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Now passing's probably more important in the game of football than ever before.
This is
Yeah.
crazy.
If you don't have a good quarterback, you're probably not going to win. On this day, in 1939, Timely Comics, which later became Marvel, was founded.
Mm-hmm.
Big industry.
Yeah, big industry,
Very big
a
industry.
money maker. I don't know
Rugby.
how many movies they come out with a year that are Marvel based, but quite a
They
few.
talk about like the value of intellectual property, and this
yeah.
has to be one of the biggest.
Oh,
This,
yeah.
Star Wars,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
just the value, unbelievable.
Yep. And on this day, 1966, Batman with Adam West starring debuted on ABC.
I did watch that quite a bit when I was a kid. The reruns of that.
Yeah.
I have watched the reruns. I will put Adam West up there with one of my favorite
He was
Batmans.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The subtle comments and
Yes.
the humor in that show is really
Yeah.
quite something.
I always
Yes.
enjoyed the I don't even know what you call them, the bubbles that would come up with the pow and the
Yeah.
bam and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's like watching a live comic show
Yeah,
or
that's,
something.
yeah,
It
that's a
was
good way to put it.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, Batman's evolved a couple times since then.
Just a few.
A little darker.
A little darker.
Yeah.
A little darker. Yeah, we got a lot of national days and world days and all that today. Today's Work Harder Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's National Pharmacist Day. It's National, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, marzipan?
Marzipan.
It's a delicious and light treat made of a fairly unusual combination of sugar and almond meal.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
You could try making that tonight too.
Sure.
And it's got almond ash extract too, I should say.
Okay.
It's National Youth Day. National Hot Tea Day, that's the perfect day for the weather.
Yeah.
National Curried Chicken Day, and something else that would make you feel warm.
Yeah.
And National Kiss a Ginger Day.
I don't know any of those.
Thank you, Tanner.
Well,
All right, we got a big event tomorrow here in town.
yeah, Times Theater is holding its first annual Bluegrass Festival tomorrow. It's an all-day event from noon to 7 p.m.
It's a fun live music style.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
It's the instrumentation and the speed of the music is really quite something. So that's fun.
Yeah, it looks like tickets are going to vary from $15 to $20, and there's going to be live performances by the new Augusta Bluegrass, Blue Holler Band, Stampede String Band, and Booze Hounds Bluegrass.
All right.
And there will be a cash bar, barbecue, and concessions. And this is an event open for all ages, which can't praise the theater enough for constantly putting events on that are open for all ages.
Family friendly.
Yeah, family friendly. They're doing a great job over there.
Yes, they are.
I'm sure this will be a big success. And
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the first annual. I mean, they're already planning it
I
for
love
to be
it.
a great success for us.
And they had a great Christmas movie season too.
Yes, they did.
Wonderful.
Yes,
They had
they
a
did.
lot of activity and provided a lot of joy during the holidays.
Julie and everybody over there are doing a great job.
Yes.
I remember as a kid, if a movie came out, I was either going to catch it at the Times Theater or I wasn't going to see it until
Right.
maybe it came out on VHS a year later.
Yeah.
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 You really had to be on it then,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Now you wait a month or two after it's theaters is streaming. So
Or it's there
Or
at
it's
the
there
same
right
time.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just wild.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I keep sounding older and older the more I talk this morning. I'm going to need to switch it up
All
a little
right.
bit and keep this thing moving.
All right.
Whew, get a little teary-eyed here. Well, here's some exciting news. The S&P 500 hit a new 52-week high mark yesterday.
Awesome.
Dropped a little after that, but, it's pushing up there. Really, the indices had a pretty remarkable year last year. I don't think that was necessarily anticipated because a lot of the signals, a year previous were showing some tougher times for the economy. But man, was it resilient last year.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Finished at 47.80.24. Economy seems to be continuing to hum along. GDP is really strong. So they're talking, maybe no recession or soft landing or some terms like that. All that means is things still keep working
Yep.
and working themselves out from the pandemic, really. So got to feel really positive about that. Hey, despite the weather, we are open today, Paul.
Yes.
I want to
Good.
make sure to say that. 8:30 to 5. Tomorrow should be 8:30 to noon. And Monday, MLK Day, we're going to be open to serve if somebody needs some banking services.
Awesome.
Feel free to come in. You can't always bank with us online, so the weather doesn't matter as much as it used to.
No,
right?
no, it
In
does
terms of managing your money and your personal finances, we've got a great mobile app that's really popular. Allows you to do so many things.
Yeah.
You can even pay your loan payment on there by transferring money from your deposit account. So you can do a lot of great things from the mobile app. If you haven't checked it out, you can download it from your app store and get into it, sign up for it. Doesn't cost you anything. So I would suggest, I think you'd really enjoy the experience. Pretty easy to use, but if you do want some assistance with that, you can call during our open hours or stop in. We'd love to help you with it. And then, of course, we just love it if you want to come in and do your banking inside, too.
Yeah.
The old way. I said I wasn't going to say the word old again. This is terrible.
Walk up to the counter, fill out the slips.
We love interacting and
$100.
seeing you, finding out how your family's doing, and
Yeah.
making sure you leave with a smile. So we'd love to see you if you want to come in. All right, we got a mortgage special going on right now, one that's kind of timely. With your first mortgage fixed rate being so low that you got the last year or two, I hope. But you may have other debts that have come up in life since then, and you may not be interested in doing a mortgage refinance, which normally helps you kind of manage your debt costs and things like that. We can get a second mortgage and leave that first mortgage in place with the low rate. Second mortgage to help pay off maybe some higher interest debt that you might have, or maybe that would be a cost-effective way to fund a home improvement or a larger dollar amount transaction that you're looking at. So those are all the reasons that might be of value to you, but those rates are starting as low as 8.5%, so really reasonable in terms of probably what some of these other debt costs would be, like credit cards or things like that. So it might help save you on your monthly cash flow and get kind of a plan going on how to pay off some of that debt. So we love talking about that because it can provide a lot of value for you if you're in that situation. You can get a fixed rate on that or a variable rate. We got all of the options. So we'd love to talk to you. Call one of our experienced mortgage loan officers for that. And no cost to kind of get some advice on how to structure things best for you. We're going to talk a little bit more about structuring your finances here in a minute. Thinking on the investment side, so I'm pretty excited about that. Bryan Bell is going to be our guest here in a moment. First Federal's own Bryan Bell. Doesn't mean we own him, but he's part of the team, guys. It's exciting.
Part of the family.
Part of the family. So obviously we got some free checking account, a gift going on. What's that gift right now?
Yeah, it's a nice throw blankets. I know I brought it in a couple weeks ago. It's nice. It's got a plaid look to it, and it's going over really well.
Goes well with hot cocoa and sports.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And snow falling.
Yeah, and the snow falling.
All the above.
So we put out a lot of good information, thinking of weather, also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do post a lot to LinkedIn, and we've got a great YouTube channel with information on products and services, and also the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find archived copies of that. So check all those out if you're, stuck at home this weekend, looking for something to do, or you're up late. We are the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. And our borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender, and our NMLS number is 399927. I will say, our FDIC insured, that was a big topic earlier this year.
Yes.
With a few banks getting caught with interest rate changes and things like that. There's a lot of really strong banks in the country, so it's not something to get too worried about. But we have a tool where you can get FDIC insurance on all the money that you might have, basically.
Yeah.
The limit is so high, nobody I know would reach it. And every dime that you have could be insured. And I know people do a lot of different things to manage being covered by insurance. Their parents taught them how to do that, or their grandparents going back to like the Great Depression, and it's really important to them. This can streamline all those efforts where you don't have to have deposits at several different financial institutions to have it all insured. You can just have it in one place, nice and easy. You don't have to manage it, by going to all the different places and renewing CDs everywhere and things like that. So we'd love to talk with you about that if you're looking for a little bit of a more simple way to have all your money insured. Mm-hmm. And I know I've talked to some folks where that's important to them, and that would be the value there. If you're in that situation, you should come talk to us about it. See Terry Ward in our Rochester office, and we can get you started on what that looks like. All right, we're legal.
We are
cut you
legal.
off there, Paul.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
We're ready to roll. Now we need to make sure we stay legal with our guest here next. Bryan Bell, welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming down today. Bryan is our LPL registered representative, part of our First Federal Financial Services team.
Yes.
I say team because you got a great group there.
Yeah, we do with Mark and Wendy.
That's right. Tell us a little bit about the team aspect of how you guys operate and.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely a team. We work together. We have 6 branches, so it's Wendy usually stays home in Rochester and mans the fort, and then Mark and I are running around to the different branches and taking care of everybody the best we can. It truly does come down to a team effort. Wendy, I know, has over 25 years with the department, and Mark has over 35 years, and I have over 5.
Hey, that's great. You think about your best sports teams, you got a nice mix of upcoming talent and rising stars and, future MVPs, and then you got your veterans that have shown the way, and
that's right.
It's the best way to do it, Bryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, when we say financial services, it's kind of a vague term, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are we talking about with First Federal Financial Service? Well, you're a bank. Is that your normal practice, or what are we looking at here from the financial services team? What do you help people with?
I agree, and I think it's vague in a purpose, because there is so much that we can offer, and to just hone in on one thing and specialize in one aspect of the financial service would be hard. So
Yeah.
I mean, we handle it all the way down. Even if someone wants to just plan for a 529, if someone wants to save for college, so we handle that side of it. If someone wants to set up their retirement plan, this one on an individual side of it, where we look at an individual IRA. If you just want to talk about your budget, if you want to sit down with us and just kind of crunch numbers and see how maybe you can use some programs at the bank to exhaust some high interest debt.
Yeah.
We do that. We help with wealth transfer, so there's always that phase of it at the end there if you're looking to pass some money on down to your heirs.
It's a big topic right now.
Yes, absolutely. And that is huge. We'll spend some time on that here in a little bit.
Okay.
It goes on and on. Even when it comes down to how do the different Tax Secure Act 2.0, I know that's been in effect probably, we're going on a year and a half, 2 years now, I think, with that. And so there's a lot of tax laws that are constantly changing, so we help you strategize and have those tax advantages there. Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of all those things as an individual investor, someone that's looking, you want to protect what you've grown in your life or the plans that you've made, and make sure you're making wise choices. So
yeah,
a lot of advice, it sounds like.
Yes, and no cost. We just love to sit down with you and see if we can help you. We're fiduciaries, we're fully licensed investment advisors, so we can help you make that decision. And if it fits right, we're happy to do that for sure. And even on the financial services side of it, we even started about 3 or 4 years ago helping people with their Medicare solutions.
Oh, I've seen signs for that here this winter.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate coming from the Social Security Administration. I was there for 10 years, so I have a little passion when it comes to that topic.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're able to help sit down, compare your current benefits. I know we're past the annual enrollment, but if you're turning 65 or you're changing you're past 65 and you're planning to retire and you need to pick up some the Medicare, we're here to help navigate those waters as well. And just make sure you get the best plan that fits your needs. Make sure your co-pays with your doctors and the prescriptions that you may be on are all covered in your network. So we're able to really dive into that and help you on that side of things as well.
Well, my parents have both gone through that, Brian. I know it's a stressful situation just because, when there's a timeline that you kind of need to be aware of, there's a lot of details. And anytime you have choices like that are going to affect future financial decisions or your current financial situation, it can put a bit of stress in the mix.
It really can. And it's like a foreign language, so you dive into it, and it's just all the A, B, C, F.
It's confusing.
Yeah. And, but I really like to water it down and help people navigate that.
That's
and
wonderful.
Make it simple for them and be able to pick that up.
I've been excited that we could add that service, and really that's based on your expertise and experience, and has been extremely useful for a lot of our customers. I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's think about for a second 2023. What's that going to be remembered for in your world?
Wow.
This is my stumper question.
Yeah. Volatility.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Uncertainty?
Uncertainty. And, we can keep the weather theme, we didn't know. We didn't. A lot of people, no one knows, but wow, you just got to be prepared for the what if. And,
Good plan.
Yeah, and what we help you do is with a well-diversified portfolio is to weather the storm, right?
That's great.
You got to be able to set yourselves up to know that the storm, it might not be tomorrow, but it's going to come.
And it won't blow you off course.
Yeah, and the sunny days are going to be there, so you want to be prepared for the run-up as well. So, 2023, that was quite the adventure. Like you mentioned earlier in the show, if you look back at the index performances, unbelievable.
Yeah.
No one would have guessed that.
Nope.
As they wouldn't have guessed, they knew the rally was coming. I just don't think as fast as it came.
I agree.
But the market is a forward-looking beast, and it saw some sunshine in the horizon, so it just kept going. But obviously, your fixed income's back. You can't complain about that. Everybody's loving the rates when it comes to their deposits.
That's right. It had been a long time, tough time for savers there for over a decade, really.
Maybe two, yeah. It was a long time that people could actually see some decent returns and moderate returns where they could keep up with inflation.
That's right.
Not the high inflation that we're all go see at the grocery store, but
that's come back.
Yeah.
Food, gas, some of those things have come back a little bit, or reverted or even come down from where they were. It's been interesting to see, and you look backwards. The more time you have, you look backwards, you get a little more accurate. But it does look like all the weird pandemic shifts in labor and behaviors and supplies, and
Yes.
Just has taken a long time to kind of work through the system.
It really has. The pandemic, I think, caused, a couch quarterback here. You look back and you think you can call the playbook. But the pandemic did cause a ton of these bottlenecks, and I think more than we anticipated when we were just trying to curb the virus, I guess. So where our focus was that. But I do think a lot of, ripple effects from that, or actions from there, kind of caused some of these economic hard times. But
Well, I think one thing that is neat about what you provide with Financial Services Department is a longer-term vision and commitment to, a plan, so that you have these strange 12-month periods or 18-month periods or whatever. But if you're really looking further, like you should be, towards a goal, it's not as important as it is,
yeah.
thinking short-term all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And financial planning and your investment goals, they are long-term. Okay, you probably heard it before. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but we'll be able to sit down with you, and yes, today's economic times matter. That's why you have us, to help manage that portfolio. But realistically, we set you up for the long term and to capitalize on those long-term gains. So, I agree. A well-planned, a well-diversified plan. You're going to be able to look back and possibly laugh at some of that volatility, or at least put it in their rearview mirror.
That's right. Okay, you mentioned something you were going to dive in deeper on.
I just wanted to take a little bit of time on the wealth transfer piece.
Okay.
And just because it was so close to my heart here recently, it helped a customer. Not going to mention any names, but unfortunately, her parents passed away, and she's fairly young. She's in her 30s.
Okay.
So unforeseen circumstances happened. Parents pass away, but I was working with her parents, and we set up the plan. We had the plan. We knew what they wanted, what their expectations were, and so I was able to sit down with the beneficiaries and spell this all out for them. And I think that's just kind of an understated value that we bring, and it's uncomfortable, but it's the truth. And when you pass away, it's so nice. Those beneficiaries have someone in their corner to help them through that difficult time and know what all their options are, what in this case, what their parents had laid out for them. And it was an emotional meeting, but it's so rewarding internally just to be able to help those people through that difficult time. And I just wanted to mention that briefly because we just kind of went through it here. And it was, at the end of the day, the aunts and uncles are calling me after the meeting because they just knew their niece, and nephew were just blown away by how much support they had, because they were, you're lost and you're grieving.
Right. Not sure where to turn, how to get through it.
Yeah, it was.
That's a great
really,
example.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and it's been great having you on this morning, talking about long-term planning, weathering the storm. That's good timing. With the weather theme, I like that, Bryan. Well, I appreciate everything that you're doing with our financial services team. I hope everybody listening kind of learned a little bit more about what that term means, what we can do, and the value that you guys can bring, and the experience that you have.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right, you may have some idea on this too. How many NFL teams have made the Super Bowl? 2, 4, 6, or 8?
Yeah, I was. You guys mentioned that. Never made the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna guess 4.
Okay, Paul.
I'm right there with him at 4.
Okay, you guys are correct. That's awesome. Can you name them?
Yeah, the Lions.
Yeah, you named
Browns,
1 and 2 already.
Cowboys and Titans.
Jaguars and Texans.
Oh, okay. I was 50-50.
So there's 3 of these in here this year.
Yeah.
Jaguars should have been, but
exactly.
they did what they do. All right, well, let's end this great show this morning from an American icon, a quote from Benjamin Franklin. He did a lot of things. It's hard to really even describe exactly what he was most.
Yeah.
But he said, "He that can have patience can have what he will."
I like those words of wisdom. Fit very well with today's topic. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Remember to be safe out there.
Yeah, thanks for listening and watching, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you.
All right.